Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Yoga Shorts. We're in Mexico. Yay! Joining us today, we have Javier, who is my archery instructor. He's also a tennis pro. And my sister, Catherine, my mom, Betty, and my brother-in-law, David. So I hope you enjoy what we have in store. We're going to do a little bit more flowing today. All right, so everybody starting at the top of your mat. We're just going to start to breathe. So make sure that you center between your feet. Make sure your feet are below your hips. And then weight evenly between the front of the foot and the back of the foot and the inner foot and the outer foot. And then take your arms and rotate the elbows in so you're externally rotating. Take the shoulders up, roll them back with the arms externally rotated, and pull the scapula, the shoulder blades, down your back. Stay like that and extend your spine, and then begin to breathe. So relax this part of your, relax. Yeah. Keep these down. Keep this relaxed. And then come up through the crown of your head. Breathing in deeply and evenly. Feel the space between your ribs expand. And then begin to notice if you've rolled your shoulders up and back, if your front ribs are poking out. Imagine as though you're against a wall and you want to press the back ribs against the wall while keeping your shoulders back. Relaxing the belly on the inhales, breathing in deeply and evenly. Begin to lengthen the amount of time it takes for your exhales. So the exhales are longer than the inhales. Settling into the space, begin to notice the air around you, the sensation of the air coming in through the nostrils and down the back of the throat, and then into the lungs. Maybe noticing the temperature change of the air as you breathe out. Then we're going to open the eyes, and we're going to start with a few sun salutations. So inhaling, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Take your heels slightly off the floor. Coming down, bending your knees if that feels better. Inhale to a flat back, extending through the spine. And then exhale, planting the hands down, step back into high plank. Modification here to take the knees to the floor. And then keeping your elbows in, lower all the way down to the floor. And then rolling the shoulders back, take the head up. Exhaling down, pushing up either through plank or through all fours to come to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Hop, step, or walk your feet forward between your hands. Inhale to a flat back. Take the weight out of your heels. Bending the knees. Exhale as you plant the hands and slowly roll up. Sweeping the arms up. Exhaling the hands down. A few more times, a little bit faster. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to high plank, either lowering the knees or not. And then on the exhale, keeping the elbows in, lower all the way down. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, relaxing the lower body. Exhale, and then push yourself to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward. Inhale to a flat back. Pull through the crown of the head. Try to straighten the spine here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Try to articulate through the vertebrae as you roll up through the spine. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, taking the hands to prayer in front of you. Take a breath here. Then let's step the feet together so the toes touch and the heels are slightly apart. And then we're going to inhale as we bend deeply through the knees. Put the weight in the heels into chair pose. Look down and make sure that you can see your toes forward of your knees. Knees can touch if you want. Exhale, fold as you straighten the knees, planting the hands, step back into high plank. Keeping the elbows in, lower all the way down or lower to hover as an option. Inhale up to cobra, taking the shoulders back and the head up, or option to come all the way up to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Take the right foot forward. Keep the pelvis low, keep it where it is, and then inhale just the torso up. Breathing here, push through the back heel. Take the right hip in. Breathe. Take the hands into prayer and hook the left elbow with the right knee, coming into a twist. Nicely done. Make sure you can still breathe here, and then try to take your sternum towards the center of your chest, towards the thumbs. Rotate a little bit more. Pull the right hip back a little bit more. And then rotate back around into high lunge. Setting the hands down. Step back into down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Keep the pelvis low. Inhale the torso high. Pull the left hip back. And this time we're going to bend the back knee just slightly. We're going to take our torso and try to shift it. If you've been doing yoga shorts, we've been doing this move every class. Breathing here. Take your hands to prayer. Hook the right elbow with the left knee. And then begin to straighten the back leg to get more of a stretch. And then start to pull your sternum, the middle of your chest, towards your thumbs. Take your bottom ribs forward, top ribs back. Twisting the body. Bottom ribs forward, top ribs back. Push through the elongated leg, the straight leg. Push into the heel. It will help you twist. Exhale, back up, high lunge. Set the hands down. Step back to down dog. Breathing here. Catch your breath. And then up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Hop, step, or walk your feet forward. Shift the weight out of the heels. Imagine there's ladybugs under your heels. Don't kill them. Inhale to a flat back. Maybe taking the hands to the shins or the thighs, but making sure that the spine is straight. Exhale, folding down, maybe bending the knees now. Inhale as you roll your spine up. Exhale down. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Take the weight out of the heels. Inhale to a flat back. This time we're going to take the feet together. And as we come up, we're going to bend into the knees, into chair pose. Make sure that the weight is shifted back into your heels in chair pose and that you can always see your toes so that your knees are not coming forward of your feet. From here, we're going to stay low with our pelvis and take the right leg back into high lunge. Breathing here. Bend into the back leg. Rotate the pelvis. So our pelvis tends to shift forward, and we want to bend the back knee in order to shift it up, taking the front hip bone, the pelvic bone, away from the thigh. Breathing here. Take the left arm down. Take the right arm up and over. Everybody feel that? Good. Everybody at home, I'm hoping you're feeling the same. Take both arms up straight. Keep your pelvis low on the same plane, horizontal to the earth. Step back into chair. Take the opposite leg back. High lunge. Do the same thing. As you bend the back knee, rotate the pelvis. And then take the right arm down and reach over with the left. Breathing here. You'll feel it in the hip flexors of that back leg. Go down a little lower. Keeping low, take the arms up, take the feet together into chair. Hands into prayer. Take the left elbow and hook it with the right knee. But then look at your knees, because they're going to tend to one comes forward of the other. So make sure that your knees are in line with each other as you come into the twist. That keeps our pelvis stable and straight. And then we twist from a more neutral place. Breathe. Remember to breathe. Put the weight in your heels. And then try to take the sternum, the front of your chest, towards your thumbs. Spin the bottom ribs towards the front of the room and spin the back ribs behind you. Inhale back up to chair. One more thing and we're done in here. Hands to prayer again. Hook the right elbow with the left knee. Make sure that your knees aren't coming forward of one another. And breathe. And smile. You're having fun. We're choosing to do this first thing in the morning. Try to shift the weight into your heels a little bit more. Maybe sit down a little bit deeper. Maybe smile a little bit bigger. And then come back up to chair. Exhale to fold down and straighten the legs. Breathing here. You can bicycle out through the knees if you want, alternating which you do. We're going to take the left leg and we're going to take it back and set it down. So your heels can line up or your front heel can be in line with the arch of your back foot. Make sure that the back foot is angled between a 45 and 90 degree angle. So the foot is in line with your knee. Bend through the front knee a lot. And then keep the pelvis low as you windmill the arms up to warrior two. Make sure that this front knee is pulling towards the pinky toe side. Breathing here. Maybe sink a little deeper. And then take the torso and shift it back. Take the palms up, relax the shoulders, and then reverse the palms and sink a little deeper. Take your torso back towards the back foot a little more. Feel weight in the outer edge of the back foot. Begin to straighten through the front knee. Hinge at the front hip forward, and then take the right hand down towards the ground and the left hand up. Breathing here in triangle pose. And then take your bottom ribs towards me and take your top ribs back. Spinning through the torso. Try to ensure that when you come into triangle, we're not putting a rainbow through the ribs. It should be straight. So this should be nice and straight. Yeah? If you can't get that straightness in the ribs, you need to come up a little bit higher. At home, if you have a block, here's where a block is nice and handy. And then inhale up. We're going to bend through the front knee. Take the torso to extend through the hip. Take the elbow to the knee. And then windmill the left arm up into extended side angle. Make sure that front knee is tracking towards the pinky toe. Push through the outer edge of the back foot. Breathing here. Then look forward of the front foot, about 2 feet. We're going to shift our weight forward. and come into half moon. Breathing here. Push through both heels, so you're flexing through both feet. Grounding down through that bottom heel. And then if you can, once again, taking the bottom ribs towards me and the top ribs towards the back of the room. It's a lot more challenging in a balance pose. Go ahead and step back. Take both hands to either side of the front foot. Step back into high plank. Keep the elbows in as you lower. You can lower all the way down or you can hover. Inhale to a cobra or an up dog. And then exhale to a down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step the left foot forward. Right heel comes to the floor. Keep the pelvis low. Inhale, windmill the arms up high. Warrior two on the opposite side. Put weight in the outer edge of the back foot and shift the torso towards the back leg while bending in deeply to that front knee. Breathing here. Try to find relaxation so you can relax your belly and smile and enjoy. Begin to straighten through the front leg. Hinge into the front hip as you come into triangle pose. Try to make sure that the bottom ribs are nice and straight. And then imagine as though you have your ladybugs under that front heel. And see if you can, don't lift it up off the floor, but imagine as though that front heel is very light. You don't want to squish the ladybugs. Does that make sense to everybody? Breathing here, looking up towards the top hand. Inhale, taking the arms up to horizontal. We're going to begin to bend through the front knee. And then we're going to hinge at the front hip into extended side angle, making a nice 45-degree angle from the top fingers all the way down to the outer edge of the back foot. Breathing here. Take the bottom ribs towards me, top ribs back. This is a twist class. I don't think I mentioned that in the beginning, but we're twisting a lot. Breathe. And then looking forward of that front foot, take your weight, shift it forward into half moon. Flexing through both heels, pushing down, reaching up. Option just to take the back foot down. And at home, if you have blocks to work with, I didn't bring my blocks to Mexico, you can have a block on that bottom hand in order to give you a little bit more support. Another option is to do this against a wall behind you, so you have just something to fall into if you begin to get a little bit wobbly. Breathing here. Bending through the bottom leg, set the opposite down, sweeping the arms up, and then setting them down, stepping into high plank, keeping the elbows in, lower down all the way or hover. Inhale to a cobra or up dog. Exhale to a down dog. Breathing here. Maybe bicycle through the legs, opening up through the body, the back body a little bit more. And then try to take your breastbone, the front of your chest, through the shoulders towards the floor. Lengthening through the spine. And then if you had a tail, try to tilt your pelvis like we did when we were in lunge. So you're taking your tail up towards the ceiling. Shifting your pelvis to stretch through the back body, the back of your legs a little bit more. Walking the hands back towards the feet. Keep the weight out of the heels. Inhale, roll the spine up. Take the arms up high. Then you can turn forward and face me. We're going to take the right wrist with the left arm. I'm going to turn around because I can't see. The sun is very bright. And then reach over, opening up through the side body. Try to make sure that your feet are still hip distance apart. And then breathe into the ribs on the side body as you pull up. Breathing here. And then bend through the knees and see if you can go a little bit deeper into that. And then take the left hand away and reach it down and see if you can bend a little bit more. And then inhale yourself up, shake it out. And then we'll do the opposite side. Grabbing the left wrist with the right hand, we're going to reach over to the side. Reach a little bit more. Try to feel the intercostal muscles, the spaces between all the ribs stretch as you breathe. And then bend your knees and see if you can bend into the ribs a little bit more. Stretch a little bit deeper. And then take the right hand down and bend and stretch a little bit more. And then inhale yourself up and shake it out. All right. We're going to take the toes to touch and the heels slightly apart. We're going to inhale as we bend deeply into the knees, taking the arms up. This is option number 1. Option number 2 is to start to come towards eagle pose. Shift the weight into your left foot. Come on to your right tiptoes. Maybe take the right knee up and over the left. Maybe hooking the foot. For most people, this is not accessible, so you can just keep it on the outside of the leg. But shift your weight into the heel of that foot. Then take the left arm under the right arm and clasp hands. Bend more deeply back. And then take the elbows up and down to floss through the shoulders. Releasing, come back to stand. And now the other side, or option just to sit in chair. Starting with the toes together, heels slightly apart. Bend deeply, taking the arms up. Shift the weight into the right foot. Take the left up and over. Take the right arm under the left. Send the hips back further and put the weight into your heel as you shift back. And then take the elbows up and down very slowly. Maybe inhale as you take them up and exhale as you take them down, stretching through the shoulders. Exhale to release. Okay, let's come to a seat. So I'll have everybody facing me this way. We're going to take the right knee and bend it up towards us. I'm not mirroring you, so you actually have to do the right. And then we're going to take the knee towards the outside. Flex through the bottom foot. Take the spine up. And then in this motion, I'm more concerned about the lower back remaining with a little arch in it and not flexing. So we're going to bring our belly towards our thigh, not our head towards our foot. You're probably not going to go very far. We're going to tilt the pelvis, yeah? Inhale up. Start to tilt the pelvis forward, keeping the lumbar spine neutral. Most of the time in yoga poses, people tend to try to go as deep as possible, and they will flex through the spine here, which makes them more susceptible to injury. So we're opening up through the chest and leaning the belly towards the thigh. Breathe. If you have a strap at home, you can hook it around the foot, and that can help to open the chest as you pull the arms back. Also, sometimes setting a low block or a low book under your pelvis will help you to hinge, and it will make you feel a little bit better about not going so far. Breathing here. Inhale the spine up. We're going to take this right foot to the outside of the left leg. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, elbow to knee, and come into a twist. If you feel like you can go a little further in this pose, you can take the elongated leg and tuck it in, but both hips have to be able to touch the floor in order to come into a twist with the leg tucked. Try to make the crown of your head go towards the ceiling a little bit further, straightening the spine a little bit more. And then on the exhale, twist a little bit farther. And then on the inhale, grow a little bit taller. And then for the foot that's planted on the floor, put pressure through the big toe mound. And push into it to give you a little bit more of twisting action in the body. And release back to neutral. Set the right leg down with the left. Maybe shake it out. And then take the left knee up. Lock it in. Take the left knee out to the side. Elongate through the spine. Flex through the right foot. And then hinge with your hips. Taking the belly towards the thigh. Opening up through the shoulders. Breathing here. Everybody feels a good stretch, yeah? Good. So a neat trick while you're here and you're bored is to try to separate your toes. We have all the muscles in our toes as we do in our hands, and we are able to move toes just like fingers, but we never do it because they're always in shoes. The more you try, the more able you will be to move your toes. So while we're here and you're hinging forward, try to see if you can move each toe individually or just spread them wide. Maybe hinging forward a little bit more, opening up through the shoulders, growing a little bit taller. And then inhale to take yourself back up. We're going to take the left knee up and take the left foot over the right. Again, option is to tuck that elongated leg in as long as both hips can be grounded into the ground. Reaching the right arm up, hook the elbow to the knee, and come into a twist. Grow through the spine to become more tall. And then from that place, exhale and twist further. Breathe a little bit deeper. Make sure that you can still relax your belly here. Exhaling to twist further. Inhaling to make the spine longer. Breathing here. Inhale to unwind. Taking the legs long. And then just shaking them out. We're going to shift our hips into the middle of our mat. And come to lie down. Take your heels towards your bottom. Feet are parallel to the hips. Knees are parallel to the hips and feet. Pressing your shoulders into the floor, we're going to take our hips up. So we start by tilting the pelvis, rolling it up towards the ceiling, and then roll each vertebrae up one at a time to shift them up towards the ceiling. Taking weight into your shoulders to push the hips up even further. Here, if you would like, you can interlace your hands behind your back to push the weight into your shoulders a little bit more. Bring the hips up, push weight into your shoulders. We've got 2 more breaths here. With each breath, lift the hips up more, shift the weight towards your shoulders, and take your chin away from your neck so you're still able to breathe. Breathing here. Last one. Hips up all the way. And then very slowly, starting with your neck and the cervical spine, begin to roll down your vertebrae, one at a time, articulating through each bone in your back. When you get to the pelvis, try to set the back of the pelvis down and then rock it onto the floor so it's not just one big flat piece. If you're noticing at home that that's happening to you, going through this motion of rolling the spine up and back down will sometimes help to give you more movement between the vertebrae. We're going to do that one more time. Tucking through the pelvis, we're going to roll it up, rolling up through the spine, taking the hips towards the ceiling. Make sure that the knees remain in line with the hips and are pulling together, and the weight shifts in towards the shoulders. Breathe into the belly as you take the hips up, maybe interlacing the hands behind the back to take more weight into the shoulders and open up through the chest. Smile, we're almost done. Take your hips up one more time, a little bit more with the last breath, and then release the hands very slowly. Start to roll down with each vertebrae until you get the back of the pelvis rocking down all the way with the rest of the pelvis. And then straightening the legs, coming into Shavasana, straightening your legs, just totally relax, closing the eyes. I'm going to leave them in Shavasana, and you at home can stay in Shavasana as well while I turn the video off. I just want to say thank you for joining us. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on the web at KarenBarnesYoga.com. Thank you for joining us in Mexico. Have a great day.